All right, so Gotham episode 7, Ace Chemicals. Man, it was a joy to see Ace Chemicals. This episode was really a disappointment for me. And Gotham, it's that way. It's hit or miss. Usually, even in the good episodes, there's some really absurd, corny stuff in there. Uh, this episode was really disappointing for me because I expected something much more disturbing from Jeremiah. I suspected that he dug up the Wayne corpses and just kind of had their corpses there in the room, and that's who was really in the room. And I expected him to have Alfred brainwashed and just being the servant and having these dressed up Wayne corpses in there that really just mess with Bruce's head hardcore. But he did something that was disturbing, but not as disturbing as it could have been. Uh, so Bruce follows this obvious uh, breadcrumb trail that it just has neon signs flashing. It's a trap all over it, but for some reason, he doesn't want to tell anybody, and he goes alone through the tunnel and into Wayne Manor, where he finds these people that have been brainwashed and they've had plastic surgery to look like his parents, and they're hypnotized by Jarvis Tetch. So is Alfred. And Jeremiah's there and he's trying to be Bruce's best friend. Under threat of a bomb, Bruce has to play along or we'll blow everything up. Jeremiah goes into this weird place where he just desperately wants to be Bruce's friend, despite everything saying, "Hey, man, this isn't the way to go about it." He does all the little touches. He's learned all this stuff about Bruce from Alfred. He has the father put the pearls on the mother, and bunch just weird stuff. Ultimately, he decides he's gonna bail with the parents because he's got this whole theater night planned since it's the anniversary of Bruce's parents' death. Uh, these scenes were just weird for me. Like, sure, they were well acted, but just so strangely written, so strangely played out. Jeremiah just he was better as the Joker when he was Jerome. When his twin pulled off, like in the show, they're not actually twins. It's the same actor. Give him credit for that. He's exceptionally skilled. But that version, that incarnation was much better. This version is much more serious. Sure, he's insane, but he's much more serious, and that's a problem for me. So you got other stuff going on in this episode. There's the whole baby's mama thing from delivered from Barbara going to Lee just to kind of antagonize her and then rub it in her face that her and Jim hooked up and they got it on and now she's pregnant with that baby. Of course, she doesn't care about anything except for rubbing it in her face. And I won't give her credit saying that, yeah, Lee is the best doctor in Gotham currently. But come on, man. We all know the character motivations to go there are just to rub it in her face. I'm not convinced that Barbara gives a damn about her being the best doctor. But beyond that, you got Lee and Jim going on this little adventure together until they're abducted and taken to Ace Chemicals, where they face Jarvis Tech. And I've never liked this Jarvis Tech. I just don't don't. I like the '90s Batman animated series Jarvis Tech, not the revamped like fourth season version. That animation looked weird on him, and he just came off weird. But the other seasons completely great. So you got this Echo Harley Quinn knockoff being his assistant, his musician's assistant type thing, and she still doesn't feel like Harley Quinn to me. Sure, she's got aspects. She dresses somewhat similar, but she's just not the joyful Harley Quinn that will come out and just knock the hell out of you with a hammer, with a mallet. And while I was disappointed with everything, that they did go to that theater, it did go to those places that those iconic places for Bruce and revisit the tragedy in all different kinds of ways, and all that was I liked how that went, but the execution wasn't what I would have done. The idea, the concept is absolutely exceptional, but the execution, not that it wasn't well portrayed and well acted, it's just the execution, the setup should have been something different. Oh, however, when we do get in the alleyway and he's talking about gunning down Bruce's parents, he's got the two people standing there facing the opposite direction. It was really a surprise twist and a good one that it turned out he said that he already put a bullet in both of the other people's head because he tried to go on about this whole thing about how we could be brothers, and I figured out that if you can't love me, then I'll bond us together forever by you hating me, by killing your parents in this alleyway all over again, traumatizing you pretty much. Uh, and Bruce is like, I'm not gonna care. I'm not gonna care about them, and th- we're not gonna be bonded forever. And when he reveals who the people are actually in the alleyway, it's Jim and Lee when he turns them around. That was actually a really good twist right there. I didn't see that one coming. And that that caught Bruce off guard too. His reaction to that was great. Credit to the actor for that one, man. The reaction to that was great, and then he turned over like, oh, "Please don't." And one of the best things about this is Selena's little story. She teams up with Penguin through this episode, and they're trying to figure out how to get off, Gotham. But their boats are being blown up because they've got the ground covered. Nobody's getting out of the city. You got mines in the water, everything. Helicopters will get shot down, so they have to figure out another way to go about it. She tells them about that tunnel and all that, so they go to investigate that tunnel. And because Bruce and Alfred had escaped earlier, right before Wayne Mansion blew up, and I like the fact that they blew up Wayne Mansion because that means they're going to rebuild it, and maybe that cave will have something to do with the actual Bat Cave itself. So they find Alfred there injured. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. She spares Penguin when she finds out that Jeremiah's actually alive. She never killed him. And as she goes to put her knife through Penguin's throat, and earlier she turned down Barbara to team up with her to kill Penguin. Uh, She spares him though because Alfred says, "Don't. Bruce needs you." So she spares him, and then Penguin's immediately a dick. He's like, "I suppose I should thank you," and he's like, "Well, you could help me to the green zone," and he's like, "Yeah, it's that way." Like typical flip flop Penguin. Like you do something grateful for him, and then he's all like, "Oh, what?" He runs off. Like nobody ever kills him. Why won't people just kill this dude? It's like every episode somebody has a chance to kill him and they decide not to. And then he goes on to do something worse and then or something equally horrible as the thing he did before. And then somebody has the chance to kill him and they don't do it again. So, uh, and that actually happens again later in the episode, twice this week. Uh, so it was great to have Selena show up in the alleyway and disarm Jeremiah, because she was there originally in that alleyway. And that was awesome. So, Catwoman, I'm not exactly sure where she went bad when they're awakened. When Jim and Lee are awakened, the hypnotized broke from the beads. That's another great thing they included in there, the beads being the trigger that awakens them. They have to disarm this chemical explosion that the Echo Harley Quinn has decided to set off should things go wrong, and it'll keep people coming from wanting to save the citizens of Gotham because they'll douse it in chemicals. So Jim decides to split up. He tells Bruce to go after somebody as crazy as Jeremiah, and he drives this truck off into the river, contaminating the water. So it's going to be months before they're saved again. Gotta say, I saw that coming. And Jeremiah was smart to think of using chemicals. Either way, he won. However you look at it. So I went to Ace Chemicals plant. Bruce and Jeremiah have their standoff, and the railing breaks, and he falls into the vat of chemicals, and they don't. There's no brain activity. I don't know if he'll ever wake up. But here's the thing: is that I just this isn't the guy I want. This isn't the one I wanted to become Joker. It's very disappointing to me. Especially, it excludes that whole Red Hood angle where he fell into the vat of chemicals. And this guy already looks like Joker. Now he just looks like a burn victim. And instead of his skin being bleached, which you couldn't really do because you already had him wearing the makeup and all that, it just bothered me. Yeah, it's all kinds of bothered me. But Gotham does its own thing. Whatever, I guess. This episode just didn't work for me. Ultimately, though, in the end, it did. There was some funny moments. Lee and Jim talking, and she's talking to him about how him and Barbara hooked up and how she's mad at him. And let's just forget it ever happened. She slaps him in the face and kisses him. And back at Penguin, it has a standoff with Riddler. And pretty much everybody's like, let's just get over the past and move forward. All these characters, you get all these character moments. Let's just forget about that and move forward. So Penguin and Riddler decide to team up again to try to get off the island. They have the submarine plan. And they're confronted with Barbara, who decides to. Riddler figures out she's pregnant and she's gonna kill Penguin, but she decides not to because she just can't now. Maybe she's hormonal or whatever. But uh, I don't know. I figured that it would have made more sense for the character to say, fine, instead of Penguin making the offer, come with us or whatever, and you don't want to raise your baby in this crime filled, toxic chemical place or whatever, contaminated place. And instead of that being the incentive not to kill him, she should have been like, give me half of what you got so I can raise my baby, not just healthy, but wealthy. I figured that would have been a much more sensible thing instead of doing this drastic shift just because she's pregnant. But they decide to team up with him, and they ask her who's the father. That was kind of funny too because she just shrugs it off like, "Shut up." Like, so there were some nice moments in here. Great callbacks. Just poor execution on a lot of the things. The funny stuff at the end was really great, but all the more serious stuff, it just didn't feel well executed for me. The music and all that was great, but I'd have to give this episode a 4 out of 10. It should have been something iconic, but it just did not feel that way. It felt more of a disappointment. Anyway, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. Give me a Vault Boy thumbs up. Helps promote my channel. And stay awesome. Rock on.